So today I'm going to be sharing some mental health tips for home buyers. This is not something that people talk about, but we need to talk about it. Buying a house on TV is magical. It's amazing, right? We've all seen HGTV where they get to choose from multiple houses. They get to have time to think about if they want the house. Everything's within their budget. Somehow they magically have money for all these repairs, which I have yet to see how that's making sense with the financing. It's a dream, right? Yeah, that's not reality. It's not reality. Buying a house is stressful. You know, no matter what I do as a lender, it is stressful. Not because of the loan, it's stressful because of the emotions involved. So today I'm going to talk about a couple of the things that I see where people go sideways, myself included, okay? I am the worst buyer. I tell people that all the time. Like, the reason why I do fully underwritten pre-approvals for all of my clients is because I am that buyer that is so anxious. So if you're new to the channel, I'm a mortgage lender licensed in 48 states. My team's one of the top purchase teams in America. What that means is I talk to people every single day, and I've been helping guide people home for, gosh, over 17 years now. It's been a hot minute. Okay, number one, are you addicted to Zillow or Realtor.com or homes? Look, technology is amazing. If you look at what home buying was like even 10 years ago versus now, the amount of information that you as a buyer have at your fingertips is amazing. Yeah, it's also a recipe for disaster. Total. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. If you guys are watching this video and if you can type in a comment, it would be appreciated, A, because it's interesting, but B, the algorithm likes it. Okay, ready? Let's play with the algorithm. How many hours a day do you spend on your website of choice, right? I'm a Zillow girl, even though I would never click that button for a real estate agent or a lender because they're just paying for me to click that button. Yeah, don't do that. But I like their software. You know, there's some people who are really passionate about Realtor.com and Homes.com. So, how many hours a day? Yeah. How many times have you found yourself looking in areas that you never wanted to live in, right? I am so guilty of that. So I'll start off in a little area this big, and then I'm like, oh, it's too expensive. These houses are ugly. And I get bigger and bigger and bigger and suddenly I'm in Wyoming. I started off in Florida. I'm in Wyoming now. I'm like buying a cattle ranch, and then I'm like, this is too expensive. Then I'm like over here in the Northeast, right? Have you guys done that? And look, some people don't go all wild with different states. I do, but I know that there's a lot of people that just, you start off in this part, and then you're like, okay, well, my job's here. I'll drive 20 minutes. Oh, I'll drive 40 minutes. Oh, God, I'm driving 3 hours to work every day. That's a problem, okay? So let me give you a tip on how to make it so you don't fall down that rabbit hole, because it will eat your brain. I'm not kidding. Last time I went through this, before I came up with these tips, like literally my eyes, like I could barely keep them open. People at work were like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, Zillow. They knew. Okay, so here's what you should do. Set up alerts, okay? Set up alerts for what you're specifically looking for, the area you're looking in. If there's no alert, do not go on. Do anything else. Do anything else. Like, honestly, truly, seriously, if you really want a house in a specific area and you're like, but Jen, they just never list, I just have to check, go door knocking. Like, it would be a better use of your time. I'm not even kidding. Like, if you don't have stuff coming up in the area that you want, walk down the streets, write a list of the houses you like, and write love letters to the seller. I'm not kidding. My mom did this and got a house like 2,000 years ago, right? Anyways, but no, you write a letter. Hey, dear homeowner, I walk by your house all the time. I think it's beautiful. I am looking at buying a house. If you're ever thinking of selling, here's my name and number. That's it. It works sometimes. And honestly, truly, that would be a better use of your time than going on an app and going, refresh, refresh. Oh, what if I go here? What if I spend another 100,000? What if? Okay? So you're gonna set up yourself for alerts. Now, the other thing I recommend, and I think this is a good thing for every home buyer to do from day one, look at a home, like put together a sheet of your dreams. And if you go to jenniferbeeston.com, that's one of my websites, there's a free tool. It's a home buyer dream worksheet, right? And it just has a lot of questions to ask yourself that you may not be asking. And when I have buyers who are really like going down this nightmare rabbit hole, I'm like, do this. Sit down in a room and do this, because you need to focus on what you want. You are not buying a dress. You're not buying a hunting rifle. I don't know manly stuff. A basketball, whatever. This is a big commitment, right? So you don't want to end up buying something where you hate your life, right? If you are saying you only want to commute 20 minutes and you're buying something an hour out, you're going to hate your life. It's that simple. Sorry, it's not fun driving an hour each way every day unless you love podcasts. So really, really, really be mindful of that. So that's number one. You're going to limit your time on the app. They're addictive. They're designed to be addictive, guys. You need to know that. It's just like Instagram, TikTok, any of that, it's addictive. Add your anxiety about buying a house, your emotions about buying a house. It is dopamine crack, okay? So set up alerts, do the new home buyer worksheet, jenniferbeeston.com. It's a free tool. You just download it, print it, enjoy. Okay, what else? You need to be working with professionals that actually treat you well and aren't trying to just sell you. And I think that's something that really adds to stress for first-time home buyers, is when they're in a bad relationship with a real estate agent or a lender and it doesn't feel good. You don't feel like they're working for you. You feel like you're the one that's always sending the houses. You feel like you're always instigating and they're just kind of like waiting for a paycheck, right? Or you can have the agent the reverse, where they're trying to sell you every house. Like you walk in a house and it smells like feet and you're like, get me out of here. And they're like, do you want to write an offer? Let me have Barry, my lender, call you. We're going to write an offer, right? Look, don't work with people you don't like. Don't work with people you don't trust. And if you're like, Jen, I signed a buyer's agreement. You can get out of them, guys. You can get out of them, seriously. Send an email to the agent because you want it in writing. Do not text, do not call. Dear XYZ, I would like to terminate my buyer's agreement effective immediately. You can just start there. Can you please confirm receipt? And if they push back and they're like, why do you want to do this? Just say, hey, we're not a good fit. And I really need to feel like the person I'm working with is in my best interest. Like, look, we're all brought up to be so nice and polite, right? So nice and polite. But it's like, if they're not doing a good job, if it's causing you stress and anxiety, if you don't trust them and they're about to help you with your biggest purchase, it's not a good recipe, because even once you get in the house, you're still not going to be happy, because what they sell you is probably not going to be what you want, because you're not in a trusting relationship. In a trusting relationship, you can say what you want, okay? And look, should you be yelling at them and bossing them around and treating them poorly? Is that okay? No, it goes both ways. It goes both ways, because once in a while, I'll get someone, I always laugh, because they're like, well, you should answer the phone when I call. Do you have too much business? Or did you not want my business? And it's like, I was on the phone with another client. Like, I called you back within an hour. Like, be realistic, guys. But look, it's really important. Yes, you can break up with your lender. Yes, you can break up with your real estate agent. Don't, have that extra stress where you feel like you're doing all the work. I'm here to tell you, lenders and real estate agents get paid very well. So you want them to do their job. And the scary part is if you're working with an expert or someone who knows nothing, they're generally getting paid the same. What's really messed up is that in loan world, if someone is like not good at their job, often they're making more than the people who do a lot of business. And the reason is the people who do a lot of business aren't trying to make as much per deal, okay? So really, really important. The next form of stress that I think you really need to think about is, I would call it outside pressures, So for instance, recently I had a female client. She was buying a house for herself, first-time home buyer, and she was totally qualified. Her finances were A++, credit, everything was perfect. It was beautiful. But she was having to deal constantly with stress from her parents, who were saying, you're not married, why are you buying a house, right? Do you think anyone says that to guys? They don't. Do you think I've ever had a male client say to me, Jen, my parents don't think I should buy until I have a wife? And it's always interesting to me because we are in an era of dual income, right? It's very rare that anyone can afford to just have one income. So it's like if you qualify on your own, you are strong. You know, if you end up getting married, they could have a gambling problem. Like, there's no guarantee that marriage means you're more financially stable. So think about what those outside pressures are. You know, do you have a family member who's trying to talk you out of buying a house? Do you have a family member that's putting unrealistic expectations on you? You know, for instance, recently we had a client where she had family members that were like, well, if you can't get a house for 20% under the list price, you shouldn't buy it because you're getting ripped off. The market that this gal's in is really competitive and low inventory. There's like zero chance of that. You know, if a house is listed properly for the correct price, it's going to sell at that. It's not going to sell at a 20% discount. But, you know, her family members had bought houses during 2008 and 9, which were the foreclosure years. So a lot of times people have the best intentions, but they don't really realize how different the real estate market is. City by city, sometimes as neighborhood by neighborhood, but also by the year that you buy. Like, it's a different world, okay? And the last thing I just want to bring to your attention, and just to circle back on this, so write down what the outside pressures are and let it go. You know, talk it through. Like, talk to your lender. Like the gal whose parents were pressuring her, I went through everything. I was like, look, here's where your finances are. Here's the questions to ask yourself. She's totally fine now. She just needed to know that she was okay because she had other people telling her she wasn't. So talk to someone about it or write it down and look at it and analyze it and be like, is this realistic or is this just other people's garbage, right? Another one that I see, I know I'm going on for days, I'm sorry, but I see it, is I'll see where two people are trying to buy a house together, partners, you know, sometimes they're married, sometimes they're not, but they have completely different expectations. And I think that if you're in a situation, you know, we had a client not too long ago, wonderful people, every single house the husband loved. The wife hated them all, right? And he got burnt, he's like, I'm tired. I like everything, she hates it all, right? I think that in situations like that, it's really important, go back to that home worksheet, do it separately, come together, talk, and then do a worksheet together so you have a common goal. You know, that's one of those things where people, it's hard. You don't know that that's an easy solution, but it really is. So if you're buying with someone else, everybody do the worksheet, right? Compare the worksheet, give and take, and come up with one worksheet, one team, one dream, okay? So look, these are just a couple tips. I hope it's helpful, but the bottom line is this, it's stressful, right? You may write an offer or two or three and lose. And you may be like, oh, I'm never gonna get a house. Guys, it's a numbers game, okay? You know, you'll hear stuff like, oh, well, with your loan type, you won't. Really? Everything depends on the seller. Every seller's different. What every seller's looking for is different. It's like saying, this is gonna be a terrible analogy, but it's like, look, let's talk about beauty standards in the world, right? Is there one type of beautiful? No. There's thousands of types of beautiful, right? And that's the thing. People say, oh, well, the agent said the seller wants this. Sellers want this. Okay, does every seller want that? No, they don't. I'm telling you that right now because I've seen it. I've seen sellers turn down high cash offers because they want to help a first-time home buyer. I've seen sellers walk away from corporations trying to buy their house for a lot of money because they want to sell to a veteran. So look, keep your chin up. Stay rational, stay out of that tech swamp, stay focused on your vision, make sure you're in a healthy relationship with your real estate agent and your lender, make sure if you're buying with a partner, you're on the same goal, and make sure that any of those outside voices that are stressing you out, you take a minute to write down what they're saying and analyzing, does this really impact me or are they just bringing their past into my world? Okay, I hope this video was helpful. If you guys have questions or you want to get pre-approved, get on the calendar or give us a call, 786-933-2077. My team is in 7 days a week now, I know, isn't that crazy, to answer your questions. We're here to help you guys get home, whether it's 6 months from now, tomorrow, or 4 years from now. Thanks for watching.